Hello everyone, this is your English teacher Mrs. Haimavati from LP Savani Vidya Bhavan. Students, today we will continue with the lesson A Gift of Chappals. In the last session, we completed the part 1 and the first part ended with a screeching sound, and Mridu was very curious to see Lalli and her music master. So now let's see what happened in the second part. Mridu crept up to the window. Lalli was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oil black hair falling around his eyes and an old fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck and a diamond ring glittered on his head as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold bordered vesty edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. So, here in the first paragraph, the author is describing the way Lalli is sitting and the appearance of the music master. Though the children were very excited to see Lalli and her music master, so Mridu crept up to the window. Crept means move slowly and carefully. If you see in this picture, all the three children, that is Mridu, Meena and Ravi, they are peeping through the window and they are observing the way Lalli is sitting and playing the violin. Here, Lalli was sitting at a distance away from the music master. She was holding her violin and bowstring. If you see, students, she is holding the bowstring with her right hand and the violin with her left hand. So, she is glazed with concentration. Glazed means this is an expression which shows that she is having difficulty in learning the violin. For that only, when she is playing the violin, she is derailing. The one who is sitting in front of Lalli with his back to the window is the music master. Here, the music master is described as a bony figure. Bony means very thin. So, he had mostly bald head. Bald means without hair, and a fringe of oil black hair falling around his ears and an old fashioned tuft. Tuft, if you see, a knot which he has tied with his hair. So, that is tuft. That is an old fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck. So, there is a glow. He is wearing a gold chain around his neck, and a diamond ring is shining on his hands as it glided up and down. Glided up and down means though he is moving his hands playing the violin, so that's why his diamond ring is shining on his hands. A large foot stuck out from beneath his old bordered vesty edge. Vesty means the dhoti which he is wearing, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. So, the way he is tapping his feet, it seems as if he is following the rhythm of the music when he is playing the violin. So, this is all about the way Lalli is sitting and the appearance of the music master. He played a few notes. Lalli stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along as Ravi said. Mridu stared at that huge, bee-ringed hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. So here the music master played a few notes and Lully followed him, but she was helpless and unhappy because she was derailing. Here Ravi is comparing the music master and the Lully's way of playing music. Mridu was staring at the music master because she loved the way he was playing the violin, but Lully was derailing again and again. Squawk! There was Lully derailing again. So, squawk means make a loud, harsh noise. Though Lully was derailing, so here that is Ravi is saying that Lully is derailing again and again. Amma came a wail from the gate. Amma, oh! Ravi sent that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda where she was chatting with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week and it's time he found another house to beg from, Pati explained to Tapi. So when Ravi was saying that Lully is derailing again and again, suddenly there came a wail. Wail means a cry from the gate. So what was the cry? Amma, Amma. So as soon as Ravi's mother heard this cry, she informed Ravi to send the beggar back because this beggar was visiting their house for the past week. Pati was saying to Tapi that it is time for the beggar to search for another house to beg from. So, this was the sound of the beggar who came to the house of Ravi and was begging. Now, let's see what happened. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the alms to appear. Go away, said Ravi sternly. My Pati says it's time you found another house to beg from. So, here, Mridu and Meena followed Ravi to see the beggar. They found the beggar in the garden making himself comfortable. He spread a cloth under the neem tree and was leaning. Leaning means move back to take support. Against the trunk to take a short nap. So he was leaning against the trunk of the tree, neem tree, in order to take a short nap. The beggar was waiting for the alms. Alms means money or food which is given to the poor people. So he was waiting that he may get any food or money from this house. But suddenly Ravi shouted seriously at the beggar by saying him to go away because Pati said that it's time for him to find another house. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of this house, he said at last, in a voice choked with feeling, are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice, Amma, Amma, oh! Sad his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth with its few remaining teeth stained brown with bitter chewing. Here, the beggar opened his eyes and looked at each of the children. He said to the children that the ladies of this house are very kind for them. Only, only for them he managed to stay alive for a whole week. So he can't believe that they would send him back without giving alms. He felt sad and again cried, saying, Amma, Amma. This strong rumble means continuous deep sound, began somewhere in his withered belly. Withered belly means it is dry and weak belly due to no food and water. So somewhere from his withered belly a strong deep sound came out of his mouth, where his teeth were stained brown as he was chewing betel. Betel means pan. So though he was chewing betel, so his teeth were brown in color. Okay. So this was the way how he was that is asking for alms, or he was expecting for alms from this house. Ravi, tell him there is nothing left in the kitchen, called Rukmani, and he is not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. Here Rukmani was now fed up. She shouted from the kitchen and said Ravi to tell the beggar that nothing is left in the kitchen. Though the beggar was calling Amma, Amma many times, so Rukmani was fed up with the sound. Now, whatever Rukmani said was audible to all. So, listening to the words of Rukmani, the beggar sat up and took a long breath. Sighed means to take a long breath. I will go, he said wearily. Only let me have a rest under this tree. The sun is so hot, the tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large pink peeling blisters on the soles of his bare feet. So, here, though the beggar is tired, he said that he will go, but after some time, because it was hot sunny day and the tar was melted. Tar means a dark thick flammable liquid which is used in making the roads. And he had blisters on his feet. Blisters means boils or bubbles on the skin, which happens due to burns or rubbing of the feet. So he cannot move in bare feet. He stretched his feet and showed large pink peeling blisters on his bare feet. So let's see what happened looking at the blisters, how the children felt. I suppose he doesn't have money to buy chappals, Mridu whispered to Meena Ravi. Have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? So looking at the blisters, Mridu thought that he doesn't have money to buy chappals. So she whispered means spoke with a low voice to Meena and Ravi if they have any old pair in the house. I don't know, said Ravi. Mine are too small to fit his feet, or I would have given them to him, and his feet were larger than Mridu's and Meena's. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. So, when Mridu asked to Meena and Ravi whether they have any old pair in the house or not, so Ravi said that he don't know whether there is any old pair of chappals or not. He thought that his feet is too small, so his chappals will not fit to the beggar's feet. Otherwise, he would have given his chappals. So now the beggar is preparing himself to move from that place. When he raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, it was gleaming. Gleaming means shining, or the light was reflecting. because the tar was melting and it was due to the heat of the sun. He needs something in his feet, Meena said, her big eyes filling. It is not fair. So Meena felt pity for the beggar, so her eyes filled with tears, and she said to herself that it is not fair, because she thought that how the beggar will go without chappals in his feet. Shh, said Ravi. I am thinking about it. Blubbering, it is not fair, it is not fair, isn't going to help. In 2 minutes, he will be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So, where do we get them? Come, let's search the house. He pushed Mridu and Meena into the house. So Ravi said to Meena that blubbering means crying noisily by saying it is not fair, it is not fair. So Ravi said to Meena not to cry, because crying will not solve the problem of the beggar. So he thought of providing him with a pair of chappals. So for that, what they all did? They all entered the house in search of a pair of chappals. So let's see. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the old looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, whose are those? So, just as Mridu stepped into the veranda, her eyes fell on the old looking chappals which she had noticed when she came to her aunt's house. So, this we read in the first part, that before she entered into the house, Mridu opened her chappals near an old pair. So, she is talking about that old pair only. So, she asked to Ravi that whose are those? So let's see what Ravi replied. Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. These are just the right size, he said, picking them up. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. So Ravi turned and looked at the shabby looking. Shabby looking means the chappals were in poor condition, because the chappals have been used for a long time. But sturdy means they were well made. So that's why, because it was strong. So, but sturdy old slippers. He smiled and nodded his head. He beamed. Beamed means smiled. He beamed and nodded his head because those slippers were of perfect size. So he quickly picked them up, went to the garden, and Mridu and Meena also followed him. So now they got the correct or the right pair of chappals which would fit to the feet of the beggar.